All right, let's get this party started. I am Tay, the self-concept enthusiast, and welcome back to the Self-Concept Hub with your host, Tay. Um, again, the Self-Concept Hub is pretty much an inside look into, did I just go cross-eyed? I think I did. I'm looking at my hair, trying to see if there's something in there. Um, anyway, the Self-Concept Hub is just basically a look into my pursuit of self-concept, my self-concept. And you're pretty much on this journey. So as I'm learning, I'm also going to come here and I'm going to share what I'm learning with you all. So welcome back. In the last video, I talked about the things that I saw manifest in my life in 2023, between 2022 and in 2023, how I went from, feeling suicidal a little bit, to seeing everything that I wanted to happen actually, excuse me, got like a floaty or something, actually coming to pass in 2023. Basically, 2023 did not start the way that it ended for me, and it's a great thing. So I talked about that. And one of the things I talked about was wanting to go from being single to being in a relationship in 2023, in 2022, and how that happened in 2023. Yeah, and so this week, this should be short and sweet because it don't really take a lot. Um, this episode, I'm sorry, this episode, I'm going to talk about um, how to get the love or relationship that you want in the year 2024. Now, I'm quite sure I haven't talked about that yet on YouTube. I think I've done it on TikTok and I've done it on Instagram. And so now I'm doing this on TikTok. So on YouTube. So basically, when it comes to manifesting love, that's another thing I'm going to do in 2024. And I'll get to that later. If you don't know by now, I am I'm going to be talking a lot about manifestation. Um, and I'm going to be talking about manifestation from, I don't even want to say like a God perspective. I know that this is just a tad bit, right? And then I'm getting to what I'm getting to. I know that the Christian community demonizes manifestation. Oddly enough, we speak a lot about things manifesting, demons manifesting mainly, but people often talk about the promises of God, and really waiting to see those promises manifest in their life. So it can't be that demonic if, we make mention of it when it suits us. I don't know. But on this self-concept is all under the umbrella of, is within the principle of law of assumption. And the law of assumption is all under the umbrella of manifestation. And so in a later video, I'll talk about God versus manifestation, where I'm kind of debunking some of myths, and just really showing how, for me, it's manifestation because of God and not a manifestation being absent of God. Whole nother video. I'll get into that. Probably like the video after this video. I don't know. But I'll talk about that. But because I am a God girl, honey, um, I'm going to relate things, back to God, with the understanding of manifestation. And so this week we're going to talk about how to get the love you want to manifest in 2024. Okay. So when it comes to getting, first of all, this happened to me. Like I said in my last video, in 2022, I decided, you know what, or that might have been 2023. 2023, I decided that I wanted to go from being single to being in a relationship. And I would get up every day and be like, you know what, I'm going from being single to being in a relationship this year. I'm going from being single to being in a relationship this year. And I ended up seeing prospects. But in the process of doing that, I thought about this guy that I went to college with years ago. Now, I know I don't look old, okay, because I'm not old. but I'm not Gen X. I'm a millennial, okay? 90s baby, all the way, all day. But back in 2017 when I was in college, there was this guy who we ended up being in the same friend group. And in the process of saying that I'm going from being single to being in a relationship, I ended up thinking about him and he ended up reaching out to me and we ended up talking and we would talk every blue moon. We would always talk and then we'd go our separate ways. We would talk and go our separate ways. We never actually dated. We never actually talked about dating until last year. And it ended up every time, just a little backstory, every time he would cross my mind since the first day we saw each other, I always thought that a relationship with him, a relationship between me and him, will be like the most ideal relationship I've ever been in. And he asked me out and I panicked, but on my like vision board or on the list of things that I wanted to happen in 2023, I did have like dating him on that list. Um, and long story short, I only thing I did, I didn't affirm that I was like dating him per se. But when I would go to bed, I would imagine myself being in bed and him being like with me and us just like going to bed together. Not sex, just going to sleep. I would imagine him like being in bed and like cuddling me. I would imagine us like being in the car sometime. Um, and like just kind of I would just imagine as if like, oh, that would be nice. Like it would be nice if we were like this, right? In my life. And it ended up happening by like the spring of 2023, we ended up dating. And so it happened. And it was the most ideal situation I'd ever been in. So it was just as I imagined and it happened. So I think that um even though I'm fairly pursuing, a better subconcept and things like that, I can look over my life and see where, I do have some experience with manifesting on a time crunch. Manifesting jobs, manifesting. I do believe I'm manifesting money, manifesting opportunities to be on TV, and manifesting a specific person or love. So now we can get into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when it comes to getting the love that you want in 2024 is you want to think about what it is that you want. So, do you want to be engaged? Do you want to be proposed to? Do you want a friends with benefit type of situation? Um, do you want a new relationship with someone from the past? What is it that you want? You want to think about what you want and get specific. Like, what type of relationship do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a relationship where the person pays for everything? Do you want to be in a relationship where, they live out of state and you guys have to like schedule seeing each? Do you want like a long distance situation? Do you want to be in a relationship where you're treated like a baby or a princess? Do you want like a situation where the two of you are independent, but you can spend time apart but come together every once in a while to spend time with? Like, think about like what type of relationship you want to be in and the type of person that you want to be in a relationship with. So you want to get detail. One thing I can say is throughout my life, I have made lists about what I was looking for in a man. And I would rewrite this list over and over, not in one setting, but throughout like my 33 years of living, I have made the same list a few times. And the characteristics of this man have all been consistent. They've all been the same. Um, Now that I'm older, there are some things that are necessary for me now that were not necessary for me at like my teens or like my 20s, right? So I kind of have like a gauge of what's more important for me today than I did then. But the gist of the person that I wanted to be in a relationship with has always been the same. And I did not know that it was the guy that I had dated last spring. Like the guy that I was like, oh, that would be so ideal. He was basically the list. Like in human form, he was the list. And he's the first man that I ever met that was actually like the list. Like there are so many things about us that was definitely like in common that would just blow my mind. But he was the list. You want to think about what it is that you want, like get as specific as possible without any limitations involved. Like think about if you could place an order for the most ideal man or woman, the most ideal relationship, think about what that is and decide what it is that you want. Okay. After you decide what you want, okay. After you decide what it is that you want, you're going to identify what you want to do. The second thing you want to do is you want to, because this is important, this goes back to self concept. This is where self concept comes into play, right? You want to reevaluate or reassess what your dominant belief or your dominant story, right? Because remember, self-concept is the narrative and the story, the dominant belief, the dominant assumptions that you have about yourself, okay? You want to reevaluate your story around love, love and relationships, around men or women, and around yourself. So if the perfect man, your most ideal man or woman came to you today, would you think that it was too good to be true? Would you self-sabotage because you think that it's too good to be true? Would you think that they couldn't possibly be into you, so they're probably lying when they say that they really like you? Would you think that, you know, oh, he probably got girls in other states. I'll say, for instance, me, when the guy asked to go out with me, in the process of dating, one of the things that I came up against within myself was, okay, I was in New York and he asked me out in New York because, that's where I was living. I'm thinking, well, of course, my insecurities came up, like we all got them. At one point, I was thinking, like, man, so if he was willing to ask me out and I lived in New York, he had to travel for like business and he did a lot of traveling. I'm thinking, what if he is like, what if he's doing this with somebody else? Like, what if he got like a girl in Vegas that he takes out on dates when he goes to Vegas? Or like, what if he has like a girl in Miami that he takes out when he's out of town? Like, if you did that for me because you didn't expect me to move back home, like, how do I know that you're not taking other girls out in these other states? At the same time, he listened to Jay-Z a lot. And you know that song, I love girls, girls, girls. I'm thinking, do you believe, like, do you love girls enough to have these different girls, holes and area codes? Like, what's your MO, right? So that did get in the way. That story, right? That assumption. Not only did I make an assumption, the real story was I didn't think that I was chosen. I didn't think that I was a priority. I thought that there could be other girls that he was interested in other states. I didn't think that I was one of one, right? And so that came up. Then I had to be like, wow, that really wasn't even about him. It was about me, right? Instead of having a story that I'm the only one. I've always been the one. It's always been me because I'm one of one. I'm the prize. I'm everything. I'm the only girl he's ever wanted. I'm the only one he's wanted to be with since the first day we saw each other in college that day. It's always been me. And he's told me before, like, T, it's always been you. I just didn't believe him because of my story about myself and my story about him. I had a story that he was inconsistent. I had a story that he just wanted to play. He wanted to waste my time. I had a story that he would ghost me. You know what? He had always been in and out of my life. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, you here one minute, you go on the next. So how do I know I need to soak up all I can get from you while we're together because tomorrow you might ghost me again. Like that was my story. And it started to reflect in his behavior toward me. It started to bring up conflict in our dating situation. And, it started getting away. Take it from me. Deal with reevaluate and reassess your story around love, around relationships, around yourself, around your worth, around what you can have, around deal with that story and align that story with what it is that you want. If you want to be a man's main squeeze, you need to rewrite the story and write the story from the perspective of someone who is chosen, someone who is loved, someone who is treated like a king or a queen, someone who is prioritized, someone that this person can't get enough of, someone that people find interesting, someone that people want to give everything, someone that people want to spend time around, someone that a man or a woman wants to commit to. Rewrite the story based on what it is that you want and do away with what you don't want. You don't, I know, you don't want to be cheated on, you don't want to be abused, you don't want to have no drama, you don't want to be with no broke man or no broke woman. Like, I get it. Like, we focus a lot on what we don't want, but right now, to get the love that you want in 2024, you need to start focusing on what you do want, right? Because whatever you focus on is what you're just going to get more of. We focus on what we don't want. I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be ghosted. I don't want to be in another relationship with a man who was emotionally unavailable. I don't want that. But what is it that you do want? Do you know what you want? Right? Once you know what you want, focus on what it is that you want. And I promise you, you will have what it is that you want. Okay. So you want to reassess your story, rewrite the story around yourself, around love and relationships, and around men or women. Whatever story you have about how men act, women act, all of that, change the whole narrative. And whatever story you come up with by the end of reassessing everything, it needs to be in alignment with what you want. And that's the story that you want to reprogram in your subconscious mind. Okay. So the third thing is you're going to take that new story and you're going to identify as the person who has what it is that they want. So if you're single right now, you're watching this, you're single. Once, once you decide what it is that you want, once you reassess your narrative, your story around love and relationships, around men and women, yourself, blah, 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 then you're going to identify as that person who is in that loving, happy, healthy, committed relationship. So now here, okay, here, right? You are no longer single. You are not single. You are in a relationship. Once you decide what you want, you change the story. The third thing is you're going to identify as the person you want to be. So I am in a happy, loving relationship with the man of my dreams, the woman of my dreams. I am in a happy, loving, committed, I am in a loving marriage with the man of my dreams. I'm so happy that I am engaged to the man of my dreams. Now you're going to identify mentally with the person that you want to be. If you want to be a kept wife, a housewife, every day, you're going to identify as the housewife. Oh, I'm a housewife, right? You're going to do all the things that you would do if you were actually a housewife. So now you're going to assume that you are what it is that you want to be. So we're not hoping and wishing, right? We are assuming that we are the people that we want to be because this is based off the law of assumption, right? You are going to assume that you are who it is that you want to be. So you're no longer single. So don't go to your friends talking about that's the third thing. You're going to decide what you want, change the narrative, identify as who you want to be. And the fourth thing is you're going to cut out anything that is out of alignment with who you are now and what it is that you want, because we're focusing on what we want and not what we don't want. Okay. So this whole dating, all of this rhetoric around dating and who paid for what, $20 for this, men doing that, women doing this, get married in 30 days and not get married in 30 days to somebody that you met on Match.com. Like all of the stuff that is circulating on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of this relationship advice, cut it. Cut it out. Don't be on the phone talking to your single friends about how these men ain't nothing, about how it's piss in the dating pool, about how ain't no good men out here, about how all these men cheat. Don't be up at the sports bar or playing the game, talking to your homeboys while y'all playing Call of Duty, talking about hoes do this and trashing women. Don't do it. Do not buy into anything that is the opposite or out of alignment with what you want. Because I promise you, those two things, you can't be like, oh, I'm in a happy, healthy, loving, committed relationship with the man of my dreams. You can't be saying that 1 minute and then be somewhere talking about, oh, girl, these men ain't nothing. I mean, when I went on a date, he pulled out a gift card. Like you can't do two things at the same time. You need to be in harmony. Okay. Everything needs to be in alignment. What you believe here, what you say out of here, all of that needs to align. You need to align with what it is that you want. You need to focus on what it is that you want. I tell people all the time, you cannot get something good out of something that you dishonor. Anything you dishonor, don't look for nothing good out of it. Money, friendships. You can't get nothing good out of a plant that you dishonor. If you have a plant and you sit up and talk to that plant like he a dirty dog for 7 days, that plant is gonna crumble up on you. You know why? Because your words hold weight, right? Words are powerful, whether you believe it or not, right? Regardless of whatever you're saying, whether it's good or bad, the more you talk stuff about yourself, about your money, about your family, about the job that you don't like, you're just going to get more of the type of stuff that you're talking because you're planting seeds, right? According to the scriptures, right? Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And the Bible says that those that love it will eat the fruit of their words. So whatever you say, you're going to eat the fruit of your own word. You're going to eat that. You're going to eat your words. Right. So if you're dating somebody and you think, oh my God, he gonna ghost me, he don't care about me, he don't love me, it's out of sight, out of mind, like he don't even like me. I don't know if he like me, he never talks to me. If that's your dominant belief, you know what's gonna happen? He gonna ghost you. He's not gonna talk to you. He gonna be out of sight, out of mind. You gonna be out of sight, out of mind. Um, He not really gonna care about you like that. Even if he wants to, if he wants to love you with his whole heart, because that's what you say, because it's what you dominant believe up here, and you start to say it out of your mouth, you're just gonna get more of that. Take it from me. I promise you. Take it from me. Okay. I know what I'm saying. I've lived what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. You want to make sure your words and what you are identifying as, that it all aligns. From the moment that you decide what you want, all right? Because according to Neville Goddard, who is a bit of a philosopher, I guess, when it comes to manifestation and the law of assumption, right? To desire is to already have. So at the point where you decided that this year you wanted to be in a loving, happy relationship, at the point where where you identified that desire in yourself, you already had what it is that you said that you want, right? But in order to get that, you have to, number one, this is like number one of step 4, okay? You need to not, it's important that you don't focus on the circumstances. So don't worry about how you're going to meet this man or this woman. Don't worry about how that person that you knew, 10 years ago is going to come back into your life. Don't worry about where this person is going to come from. Don't worry about the chances of this happening to you because you dealt with that in step 2 when you reassessed your self-concept, right? So anything to do with the old story, we're done with that. Now we're identifying as the person who already has what it is that we want. Okay. And so because you identify as a person that already has what you want, you don't worry about the 3D. Okay. It is possible. I promise you. People be like, how you gonna be somebody and you stay in your house all day? You don't have to go nowhere to meet nobody. Those are assumptions. Okay. If you go into the mailbox, if you are going to the mailbox, you can meet the love of your life going, stepping outside on your porch to get the paper. Because there are so many different opportunities. There are so many possibilities, so many different realities where you have what it is that you said that you wanted. There is nothing stopping you from meeting this person that you want to have a loving, healthy relationship with. There's nothing stopping you. You can be on your phone. And people text me all the time and it's a wrong number. Imagine being on your phone. Imagine you get a text from a strange number and they're like, oh my God, I was looking for this person. Maybe I have the wrong number. And you all start chatting back and forth, and this ends up being your wife or your husband. You think like, I don't know, a complete stranger. If you think it's possible for you, then it's possible for you. I've never been the type of person to like date, like, and this video is going on too long. I can already tell. I thought it was gonna be a short one, straight to the point. And here I go talking too much. I was never the type of person to like date multiple people because I'm like, oh, that's exhausting. Oh my God. I wish that I can date like 2 or 3 men at the same time, but I'm just like, one is enough. Okay. Um, but I never believed that I had to go out and date like 1,000,001 people to meet the man that I was gonna marry. I didn't believe that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to. I don't need a man to pay. I know women be liking free meals and stuff. I get that. I didn't need that. Like, if I'm not interested in you, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not sitting down. We can't go get coffee. I don't want to get food. Like, I got food at home. I can get takeout. Like, I'm okay. I don't need to sit down with 10 different men in 7 days to find the man that I'm going to marry. I said, God, I just believe that God was too intentional for that to be the way that I had to take. I don't have to do that. I could very well be in line at Whole Foods and my husband can be right behind me. He could be at his car, putting groceries in his car and help me push the cart back to the cart thing. And that could be my husband. I don't. I believe I could be on the train. I could be on the airplane. And my husband could be seated right next to me. He could be seated 3 rows down. You just never know. But the point is, the possibilities are endless, they are infinite. There are so many ways that you can meet the person that you want to meet. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not your responsibility to worry about that part. You just need to believe that it's possible for you. And you do that in step 2 by changing your story, your self-concept, your concept about love, men and women. That's where you do that. Okay. So you don't want to worry about how it's going to happen. And you don't want to look at your day-to-day life and be like, oh, yesterday I was saying that I'm in a happy, healthy, loving relationship and I'm still going to bed single. It's just me. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Don't look around at your apartment and be like, where you live or whatever it be. I'm just going to be single, right? Because that's the old story. We don't identify with that anymore. Regardless of what the outside world is showing you, you're going to continue to identify as this person that is in this loving, healthy, happy, committed relationship. That's the only thing you're going to say, the only thing you're going to focus on until it comes and it manifests in your life. Which leads me to my next point. What you want to do, okay, with the new story that you developed in part 2, step 2, is you're going to create, I don't know, I would say about 3 affirmations max. Okay. You're gonna, and these affirmations are going to include, I'm worthy of love. It's going to include some stuff about your self-concept. I am worthy of love. I am chosen. Um, I am the prize and everything about me is perfect, right? And I am in a happy, healthy, loving, committed relationship in 2024. That's like four, right? So you're gonna make this short paragraph, I guess, about like who you are, what you're worthy of, is going to include your self-concept, but you want to affirm that you are in this relationship that you're seeking. Every day you get up, every night, you want to hold this. You want to continue to repeat this new story because what you're doing is you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is used to believing that we're going to be single all day, all the rest of our life. We're not worthy of love. Nobody loves us. We too big. We too old. All of this stuff. So in order to do away with the old story, you have to replace the old story with a new story. And so you're going to replace that old story with a new story by affirmations and what you're feeding your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is reprogrammed by repetition. So whatever you put in front of your subconscious mind long enough is going to impress upon your subconscious mind. So if you have like images of the type of relationship you want to be in, or the kind of car you want to drive, or the type of lifestyle you want to live, the more you focus on that, the more it's going to suppress upon your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is actually happening now or what's like not happening at all. So your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. Your subconscious mind is just going to give you whatever you feed it. Okay. And your logical mind, your conscious mind is your logic mind, your logical mind. That's the rational mind. That's the mind that's telling you, oh, you 50, how you gonna be married? That's the mind that's telling you, oh, you weigh how much? And you think somebody want to be with you? That's the mind that's telling you, oh, girl, you messed up with him. He ain't never coming back. Forget about it. You might as well just move on. Right. That's the mind that's telling you, yeah, bro. Yeah, like she out of your league. I don't know. But your logical mind, your conscious mind is your logical mind. That's the mind that's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the math ain't mapping, right? But your subconscious mind, if you tell it over and over again, I am loved. I am in a happy, healthy relationship. I'm in a happy, healthy relationship. I'm in a happy, healthy relationship. I'm in a committed relationship. I'm in a committed relationship. Your subconscious mind is going to be like, okay, we're in a committed relationship. And it's going to show you proof. It's going to make that belief a fact. It's going to make it a fact. It's going to turn that belief into a hard fact. And you'll look up and be pumping gas. You're going to be at the grocery store getting your plant-based milk and your probiotics. You're going to be at GNC getting your supplements. And boom, just like that. Like what you affirm for is going to manifest in your life. I'm telling you. Now, you can affirm for a loving, healthy relationship without doing subconcept work. You don't have to. You don't have to do it. You don't have to change your subconscious. But when that relationship manifests because you affirm for it, it's going to be your self-concept, your concept of yourself, your concept of this other person, your concept of love and relationships that's going to sustain that relationship. So self-concept is a good place to look into, to reassess, to reevaluate, just to make sure that it lines up with what you want to see happen in your life for you. All right. So let's go through the steps one more time. You want to decide what it is that you want when it comes to love in 2024. You want to realign, reassess your story around love and relationships. Okay. And align that with what it is that you decided that you want. And then the third thing is you want to ignore the circumstances, ignore or don't worry about how, don't worry about your regular day-to-day life, your reality, right? Because your new reality is that too, that you are this person. No, you want to decide what you want, reassess your story around love and relationships. The third thing is you want to identify as a person who has this relationship that you decided that you wanted. So you want to identify as the person. And then the fourth thing is you want to forget about the circumstances, don't worry about the how. And the fifth thing you want to do is you want to affirm that this relationship that you wanted, that you decided that you wanted in step one, is already yours. Okay. You want to make affirmation that you are loved, you are chosen, that love is possible for you, and that you are in the relationship that you want to be in 2024. And that's it. That's it. That is all. I think I've said enough, but I think I got one more thing to say. Okay. Also, when it comes to like the circumstances, because this world is like a mirror, what you can do with your 3D is use that as like an indicator of like, you know, or where you are when it comes to like what you believe, right? And some ways that you can know, um, yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna just stop right there. The 3D can also be an indicator of like some of your dominant assumptions, where you are with that. But that's a whole nother video too, for a whole nother time. Just remember what I said, okay? Decide what you want. Reevaluate your story about love and relationships. Identify as a person who has what they want. Affirm for what you want. And number 5 is persist. Don't worry about the 3D. Don't worry about the how. Don't worry about anything other than what it is that you want. And we're not even worried about that, right? You're just going to focus on what you want and believe that it's already yours. Assume that you already have it, because to desire is to have. And the moment that you decided that you wanted to be in love in 2024, you already had exactly what you were looking for. So I hope that this was a good video, even with some of my little extra in the middle, in between, some of my own story. I'm gonna try to be as transparent as I possibly can, just about my own process, because I am in pursuit of a healthier, self-concept and everything. And so I'm just kind of including you all in it. I hope this is helpful. I'm already knowing that the person who does what I say in this video is going to have exactly what they want. If you want to update me on how this worked out, if you want a video on affirmations, then let me know in the comments. Again, I'm Tay, the self-concept enthusiast. I love coming on here every other week or so to talk about, things in my life and what I'm learning. I enjoy this so much. So thank you for listening, and I will see you all again in the next video.